It's another week. Another week has gone by. Another week.
Help!
And
Help!
how many
Help!
games did you play in the last? On average, just off the top of your head, you don't have to try and calculate, but just how many games have you played since last week? I'm going to say I played 10. What about you? What about you guys?
I'm going to say I've played 4 different games, 8 or 9 plays. Okay. Most of them new games that I got this week.
I'm going to say 40.
40?
Yeah, I'm including BGA too.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah, I would include it.
Yeah.
40.
About 40.
That's why you're not ever doing your videos, because you're doing the board game arena all the time.
That's right.
Yeah. That's why you don't do videos. That's Phoenix, right. What about you, buddy?
I probably played about 4 or 5 games, I would say, this week.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Cool. All right. So we got a pretty good handle on things. We're pretty active in the community. We got a lot of cool things going on. I know Higher Ground Gaming, you've posted some videos on your channel, and Lower Stoner Board Gamer, you've posted some videos on your channel. How are they being received? Are you getting any comments? Are you getting any support from your subscribers?
A little bit.
Getting the usual, hey, good to see you kind of thing and everything. But I plan on next week for Higher Ground Gaming, putting together 2 or 3 videos for this, so that way you can see how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll unbox mine too.
Are you guys going to be buying every game that I mentioned this week too? I noticed PhoenixKnight was unboxing a D-Day dice the other day. I'm like, oh my!
I haven't played it yet, but I got D-Day dice. But I did play Tiny Epic Pirates, and it's got promise. I like it.
Nice. I got the Teotihuacan and the Kickstarter that just went on there. I got the deluxe version. I pledged for that.
Great. That's awesome game. I love it. And I had debated so hard about whether or not to get the deluxe.
Yeah,
I just thought, I've got the game. Why do I need the deluxe components?
Right. I only had the base game, so I didn't have any expansions or anything.
Right,
so
and I had bought all the expansions and everything, so bummer.
Yeah. I do want to try that other T game, that Tawanza, whatever it was. It's the one that looks like a
Tzolk'in.
It's got like a pentagon, the Pentagon one. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's put together.
No.
Yeah, I think ID played it on his channel.
Oh, Takenu. Is that it?
No, I think it's Takenu.
No.
It's on sale on I think Game Nerds for like $25 now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I got Robinson Crusoe this week.
Good game.
Kicked my butt, and I'm waiting to do it again.
Did you play the opening scenario, or did you play?
Yeah, I just played Castaways, and I played all 4 characters, and it was a TPK on the 8th day.
Always a sign of a great game when it kicks the hell out of you, and you immediately come back.
This the one you're talking about?
Yes, it is.
Yes, that one.
Yeah. Tijuana Tinisu. Suyu. Yeah, Tijuana Suyu. I don't know why they can't come up with harder names to say. I mean, good Lord.
I know, huh?
Jeez. But that is actually, I have not actually put this one on the channel yet. I've got it. I just got it recently, and I actually got the expansion for it, but I just haven't got it to the channel yet. What's wrong with me? I tell you, just doing too many things.
Slacker.
I know, right? I know. I mean, I'm not playing 40 games a week like Higher Ground Gaming.
I know.
I mean, I was hoping to. I know you sent me a request to do the board game arena thing, but I just haven't got a chance to do it. And then they blocked it at work, so I can't see it at work anymore. So I think they caught on because
next time they do it, I was going to be doing it on my cell phone. You can do it on your cell phone. Because that's how I signed up for it and everything. I got the app. I'm doing it on the cell phone. Yeah.
I could. Do they have an app, or you just go to use the web page?
Probably just the web page.
App, but it views it in Chrome. So essentially, the miniaturized web page.
Phoenix, you're awful quiet, man. Are you doing any board game arena stuff?
He's dodging bullets. He's good.
Pretty much.
He's eating his munchies. That's what he's doing.
What was your munchies this week, Phoenix? Talk to us.
This week's Mystical Munchies was actually polystarch portion bread, which is apparently a recipe themed from Jakku. And it turned out fine, but it was very peppery. I'm actually starting to work on a list as well of recipes that I want to redo on Mystical Munchies. Whether they got screwed. Basically, these are recipes that either got screwed up in some way, or I just want to redo them as I'm getting more comfortable with the camera in the kitchen. So eventually I'm going to dedicate a month of Mystical Munchies to redos.
It's a lot of work. Positioning the camera, getting it set, recording yourself, and doing all that stuff. So kudos to you for going through that effort and stuff. Have you made anything that you're like, damn, this is really, really good? This is so good.
Let me see what all I've made on Mystical Munchies.
Because every time I watch, you always end up like, oh, this is okay, but it's either too hard or too crunchy or too this or too that.
Generally when I make comments like that, it's usually I'm kind of looking at it a lot of it through the lens of I'm still trying to lose weight. So there's a bit of that in play.
Yeah, how much you down now?
Let's see. As of my last weigh-in, I've got to check because it's on my Weight Watchers app on my phone. As of my last weigh-in on Saturday, I'm down. Where is it? Here it is. I'm down a little over 18 pounds as of my last weigh-in.
Wow, nice.
Go, man. Way to go.
Awesome.
Yeah, I started running the last few weeks. I'm getting back in there.
Running. Are you?
Yeah.
They always say it's the old folks that pick up running that end up having heart attacks and dying. So
nope. I actually ran a marathon in 2011, Boston Marathon.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The Boston one, really?
The Boston one. It was 2 years before the bombing and everything like that.
Oh, right.
I finished it in 4 hours and 7 minutes, which isn't bad considering not bad.
No.
And Ray Lewis's mother, actually, the Boston Celtic Ray Lewis, his mother,
Yes.
I passed her at the 5 mile mark, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Yep. But it was the 4 hours and 7 minutes was almost the exact time when the bombs went off on Boylston Street. So I would have been finishing. And after that, I ran unqualified because you have to run a qualifier, run a half marathon at a certain time in order to qualify. So I just kind of snuck in and ran it like a lot of people did, but you can't do that anymore. So I did it one of the last years. To do that.
They don't let you.
No. But hey, whatever. It was right before my mom passed, so she got to see me run it. So that was cool.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Nice.
Okay, so that was who is it? Whose mother? It was it?
My mom passed like a month after the Boston Marathon in 2000.
No. I was talking about when you ran. It was Ray Lewis' mother.
Ray Lewis, yeah.
Okay.
Not
Reggie
Ray Lewis.
That's what I was.
Reggie. It's the Celtic guy, Reggie Lewis. Reggie Lewis.
Okay,
Reggie Lewis.
because I actually talked about him today because I was playing the 92-93 replay basketball.
Uh-huh.
And he's the one that passed away in the summer of 93.
Yeah, it wasn't Reggie Lewis. It was
Reggie Lewis. Yeah.
Ray Allen. That's what.
Oh, okay. All right.
Ray
Allen. Okay, that's
Ray
different.
Allen.
All right.
Yeah, Ray Allen. Yeah, my mistake.
Get me all excited. I was like, wow, that's weird that you would bring that up because I just read it and talked about that. That's crazy. All right. Well, that was our intro. Awesome. Catch up with our fellas and learn about us. We're going to get started here. Game number, where are we at now? We're at 30, right? So
3-0.
That's 30.
All right, so we're going to go around in a circle, starting with PhoenixKnight first. You're going to be first every time. And we are doing number 30. Oh, yeah, baby. Let's do it.
So just a 10,000-foot view before I get into my number 30 game. For me, these are games that I've enjoyed playing them in the past, but there's something about them that's keeping them from the forever aspect of the list. Whether it's maybe I just need more experience with the game, or there's really something about it that I just can't sink my teeth into and get past. That's just holding it away from being a forever game for me. So my number 30 game is actually one of several in the universe from USAopoly in the Rising system. And theme was a very important part of this purchase. So my number 30 is Harry Potter Death Eaters Rising from USAopoly, where you're basically going to the 3 of the main locations in the Harry Potter universe, essentially defeating the Death Eaters with the goal of eventually finding and defeating Voldemort. Speaking of which, unfortunately, that's one of the things that's keeping this one out of the forever aspect is the component quality. So I don't know what happened with this, but it must have been in transit somewhere. My Voldemort is actually missing a hand.
Oh,
like I said, I don't know if it just fell off in transit or what happened, but yeah, component quality. Mechanically, the game is actually really interesting, but to me it's just a little samey. Then obviously the order that everything comes out will impact your play experience, but just the component quality kind of bothers me a little bit on this one. So my number 30, Harry Potter.
What kind of game is it? Is it a deck building game? Is it just an adventure game? What is
it's I don't know what I'd even call it. It's not really a deck builder. It's not really an adventure game. I have played it on the channel before, though. I think I'd term this like a team builder almost kind of thing. Not a team builder of you're building a team with your other players. You're building a team of characters to deal with the challenges. It's a kind of a weird cross between Elder Sign and Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. I know it's a really weird kind of game to get a vibe from. I know there's Thanos Rising. I think there's Star Wars Rising. I think there's even a Plankton Rising or something like that in the SpongeBob SquarePants universe. Yes, it's really stupid. Wow. No, I didn't come up with it.
All right. Chris.
All righty. My number 30 is My Family's Bloodsport. That game is Monopoly. We play Monopoly Cutthroat. I used to live and die by the red Monopoly, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, until I realized that orange and light blue are much more mathematically effective. I've been playing this game since around 10 years of age. And as kids, we would play for hours and on occasions for days because we didn't know any better. But now we do not play but once a year. But when we do, the gloves come off. The killers sit at the table and the rest enjoy the bloodbath. I do not need utilities. I mortgage railroads. Keep your Park Place and Boardwalk. I will grind you into the table. I thrive on the blood of my fallen foes. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Do not play Monopoly with lower, slower board gamer.
Monopoly.
What is that rating on there? I've never seen a red rating on this thing before.
Looks like 4.4.
No.
4.4. It is
haters gonna be haters, baby.
Roll
and move.
I was gonna say its overall rank is 24,387.
Mm-hmm. Paper money and roll and move. Thing of the past, but every once in a while you
people
just
love to hate on on, I guess.
Yep.
It's actually a guy at my church. It's his favorite game. He loves Monopoly, so I can't complain.
And if it gets someone to a table playing a game with friends, I don't care what game it is. They're having fun, and it's a perfect game for them.
True. Yeah.
Yep.
True.
I don't think I've touched a copy of Monopoly ever since I got into the hobby.
It had been a while. It's been a couple of years since I've played it, but it's due.
Last one I played was Red Sox Monopoly with my students, actually, at my co-op. I played it last year. So.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Getting him to it.
All right. Number 30 for you.
Okay. So my number 30 is a civilization game of sorts. It is a drafting game, tile drafting. It's got a time mechanism in it. It's, let's see here if I can. I just wanted to get a little thing on it. I won't worry about that. But it's got a time mechanism in it. It's got, it's just a very interesting game where you're drafting tiles on the board and in order to take actions. And you're it's really hard to describe. There's different types of workers that you're trying to develop the strengths of. It's got a very interesting player board where there's 6 different types of characters in the game from a civilization, say like an Indian civilization. And if you develop one character to a certain point, you can only develop the other character to a certain point. So it limits you depending upon your character development. It's very tight, but it's very satisfying, and it's just a really cool mechanism with time and drafting. And it is my number 30, and that is Gentes.
Yes, I didn't want to surprise or share it until you give me the name. There you go.
Sorry, Gentes.
Gentes.
Looks like a cool game, that's for sure.
It is. It's a really, really fun game, and it's a tight game. It just got some really unique mechanisms that I haven't seen in any other games. That's your player board there. There's some area control in it, card drafting, and it's just the way you draft stuff and the way you perform your actions is just very. I don't know. I've never seen it in another game, but it's very satisfying to take the actions. But time is a huge thing, and you have to unlock time in order to take more actions, and it's just. I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's very satisfying though. Very satisfying game.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They have that on Board Game Arena?
They do not.
Okay.
It's by Game Brewer, and TMG Games. So.
All right, my number 30 is we've seen this basic game system in 3 other of my titles that I've gone through. This is the command and color system, but this is the granddaddy of all, and this is going to represent both command and color ancients and command and color samurai because they're basically the same thing with just a different theme. This is, of course, using the command and colors system. Like I said, I've used Memoirs, been on my list, which uses a very similar system. Battlelore uses the same system. This basically a great introductory war game that you can sit down and play with cubes. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Little terrain pieces, leaders, and each unit kind of does, for as simplistic as it is, there's still a lot of variety in the units and what they can do and what they attack with and how many dice they're rolling. And you're just moving things around and trying to wipe out your opponent. So my number 30, Command and Color Ancients.
Are those wooden components?
Yeah, they're actually wooden blocks. Yep.
And the blocks are the blocks bigger depending upon the
there is, yeah. So let's see if I can find a different picture. You can see, they have the big cavalry units or chariot units are bigger. And then the leaders have got the biggest block, and then the infantry units are really small. Yeah.
There's a game called, I think, Lancaster that's like that. The units are bigger, depending upon the strength of the units. You can tell which units are the bigger or the more powerful units. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. This is just not, kind of like I said, an introductory war game. There's not too many rules. You're playing a card. And the card will tell you what you basically can do. Activate 3 units in this section, or activate 1 in this section and 1 in this section. So, fun little game.
Cool.
All right, so that's our number 30 as we go into number 29.
29.
Russ going to take one look at my number 29 game and be like, why isn't this ranked higher on your list? Part of the reason it's not ranked higher on the list is because I'm still kind of sinking my teeth into this one. I've gone through the tutorial scenarios of this one, and I do appreciate that it has tutorial scenarios. There's a lot of game to sink my teeth into on this one, though. It was actually game number 5, I believe, on my Tack Up Wargaming list. Let me double check that. That doesn't seem right. Where is it? Okay, gameplay videos. Oh, wrong folder. Come on, there we go. Oh yeah, it actually was game number 5 on my Tack Up Wargaming list, and I'm actually playing it again Wednesday on the channel. That game is a heavy one, but it's Atlantic Chase by GMT Games. So this one, of course, you take on the scenario, you take on the Kriegsmarine and the home fleet during World War II in the Atlantic Ocean. And part of the reason it's being held off the forever aspect is just because like I said, it's kind of an exposure thing for me, where I just need to get it to the table more often. I know some people say it's got unique mechanics. Maybe I'm just not. It's one of my first war games, so I guess I'm not really. I'm still kind of looking at it from an ooh, this is new, ooh, this is new. So almost everything seems like a unique mechanic to me at this point. And I do like that it's got intro scenarios. Again, being a newer war gamer, I really need those intro scenarios just to help me make sense of the game. And I might need to do some list gymnastics if Air Raid Pearl Harbor doesn't come in time to end up using this as my 2023 game, since the reprint came out earlier this year.
Awesome. They just did a reprint of it, so it's back in production now. It's been out of production or out of print for a while. I know you were lucky enough to pick up a copy when you first got into wargaming. I don't know how you did it, my friend, but you found a copy somewhere.
Thank Noble Knight, they had the copy. And like I said, depending on how Air Raid Pearl Harbor cooperates this year, if that comes out or not, I may have to do some list gymnastics where I jettison Air Raid Pearl Harbor, replace it with something else, use Atlantic Chase as my 2023 game, and finish the list that way.
It'll be interesting to see. I've picked up the reprint. It's still in the shrink, so I want to see your playthrough. So, do you know which scenario you're doing, or?
Given with the story of the Bismarck coming up, I'm actually devoting my next 2 Wednesday videos to it. So I'm going to do Exercise Rhine and Atlantic Chase, and then the week after that is actually going to be Bismarck Solitaire, which is also on my war game list, which will be number 7.
Nice, good job. All right, Chris, you are number.
Number 29. Continuing the theme of games hated upon, because there are so many more games that do it differently and do it newer. This is probably the first more modern board game that I played. It's probably my first gateway game, really getting into this part of the hobby.
Hang on, Chris. Hang on. Time out. You are really. Is anyone else?
I was just going to say something. We've got
I thought maybe it was me, but I saw Higher Ground Gaming's face turn to like, is there something going on here?
Right.
I thought it was me.
Like you're really broken up.
How about me? Am I sounding okay right now?
No, you're still really broken up.
Yeah.
It's mostly your video is like frozen.
Yeah.
Hold
the
on.
Sound is also really choppy when you're trying to talk, though.
Be right back.
All right, we'll go ahead and come back to you. Let's go ahead and go to Higher Ground Gaming then.
Yeah, we'll get back to him. All right. So my number 39 is another video game IP. It is by Martin Lawrence and Cosmos, and it's part of the Anno series. It's Anno 1800. It is a language independent game. It is a game where you're building different types of industries, and you're there's actually no resources actually in the game. They're all virtual resources. It's an engine building game where you're fulfilling contracts, exploring the new world, doing shipping, fulfilling orders. It's just a game you're doing trading with other players. So it's a Euro, but it's very interactive Euro. It's for 2 to 4 players, but it does have a great solo, campaign in it, which you can do, which builds up the game and teaches you the game. It's very little luck, high on strategy, and it really does a good job of, replicating the board game. I mean the video game itself. So it's really a fun game, and just it's got lots of different scenarios to it. The only thing is that it can tend to last a little bit long at times, but it depends upon the players in the game too. There's a lot. There could be some AP in it, but really good implementation by Martin Lawrence, who had the #1 game on Board Game Geek right now, and that is Anno 1800.
Excellent. I've been looked at this game several times. It looks like one that I really should like. So
yeah, I think you'd really enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm not sure how. Have you played it solo? Do you know how well it plays solo?
It plays well solo, yeah.
Okay.
It starts off a little slow in the first few campaigns because it doesn't. You don't use all the mechanisms in the first few scenarios, but then it really ramps up, and then you use everything, and it's good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's good. Yep.
Well, welcome back, Chris. You look so much better.
Is it better?
Much better.
You got the slower part right.
Well, I'm also lower.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
Right,
that was it. You weren't lower and slower enough.
29. We're trying to do the 29 numbers.
Yep. Got her. Number 29 is another game going along the theme, as I said, of games that get hated on. My number 29 is Katan by Klaus Teuber, here at number 29. My first game was very frustrating. I misunderstood a rule in a highly contested game, and I did not understand that I could lose longest road. And when it happened, man, I was so mad. I was so upset. I had it in the bag, and of course, it was Ron who did it to me. But man, this game, it just gets you, and I came back for more. It's a good way to learn economy in a game, and I suppose area control, keeping people out with the roads and the cities and settlements and everything. But it's a low-scoring game, but there are a lot of intricacies that weave into this great game. It doesn't play solo, and it's a slog at a high player count. It shines, in my opinion, at 3, and if you have a good experienced group, 4.
Yep.
This game may have cooled a little over the years, but it's still a favorite, and it has a Monopoly card. Can't go wrong there. So try and count your resources and see how close your opponents are to victory so you can make your move in just the right time. And remember, we built this city on wheat and ore. Catan, number 29.
Yeah. This is the first game that got me into the hobby. A friend of mine invited me over. I only knew like Monopoly and regular board games, and he invited me over, and I think we played like 6 players. And he played with all the expansions in it too. And it was overwhelming, but I knew once I played it there, I was like, this is something different. I have to check out this hobby.
Yeah, there's more.
Yes.
I think I played Catan like once or twice. And by that point, I was already mostly established as a solo gamer. So Catan ended up being a miss with me. But again, a lot of that through the solo lens.
The designer just passed away this year.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I saw that.
I am probably one of the very few people in the world that is a 100% board gamer and has never, ever played Catan. I've never actually played Catan.
Just never come up.
It just the people that I played with never, it was mostly war games and mostly Euro games, but not Catan. Never played Catan in my entire lifetime. So when people, I've been wondering, should I go down that road and just buy it just for the sake of normalcy? But I just have never done it.
I'd find someone that has it and say, hey, I've never played this. And they'll probably make it happen so that you can have the experience and see if you like it or not.
Yeah, probably would. But all right, thanks for bringing that up.
I would be surprised if it's not on BGA too.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And that might have to do with the tournament listings and everything. I mean,
I think there is a website that you can play Catan online, I'm sure.
I think it's IO or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact link, but yeah.
Yeah, I played it. The interface isn't great, but it's okay. And I think they do have it on Steam.
Oh.
They also have it on console. It just came out on Xbox about 2 months ago or so.
Yep.
So it's on console as well. Yep.
I don't have an Xbox. Don't have a PlayStation.
Yep.
Don't have any of this stuff. I spent all my game on board games. Me and PhoenixKnight, we talked about this before when you guys weren't here about what we spend our money on.
Well, I did that.
My number, what are we at? 29. My number 29.
Yep. 29.
I literally, the funniest thing happened with me mentioning this game a couple weeks ago on the War Room show. On the War Room show, I mentioned this game, and everyone looked at me with a blank stare. I thought literally everyone in the world knew about this game. I literally thought that because it sold 20 million copies. 20 million copies of this game. What game am I talking about? I'm talking about Ticket to Ride, my friend.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
Ticket to Ride. I could not believe when I mentioned this on the War Room a couple weeks ago. People were like, chirp, chirp, never even heard of it. And I'm like, You guys are seriously telling me that you have never heard of Ticket to Ride. It is a all-time classic. I was flabbergasted that they had never heard of Ticket to Ride because it's just because of its popularity and how much. Look at Dave Gardner. He tossed his first no-hitter tonight, and it was live.
Dave.
Wow! Congrats, Dave! Oh my gosh, I wish I would have been there. That's awesome.
There's a record for it.
We'll go back and watch it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna definitely go back and watch that tonight after our show.
Yep.
But my number 29, Ticket to Ride, it is the simplest game to teach. You can literally sit down and teach somebody how to play this in 10 minutes. But you get three actions. You can either get cards, you can get more tickets, or you can build a route. That's your three choices. That's all you can do. And you think, oh, well, that seems really easy. There is so much strategy. When do you build? What cards do you get?
Yep.
If I see that you're getting all the blue cards, I know you're going to be building a blue route. So which blue route are you going to get? It's just so good. Ticket to Ride. That's why it sold 20 million copies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I'm 1-0 on it too. On your channel.
And you can play it on Board Game Arena and lose to a rookie, Higher Ground Gaming.
That means you're a great teacher.
I guess.
Hashtag great teacher.
It's fun. We should get a foursome going together and play it sometime.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just a fun little game. Seriously, have you guys? You've definitely heard of it, right?
Yeah.
Has anybody else besides me and Higher Ground Gaming played it?
Oh, a lot.
Like once or twice.
Okay. All right, but you've heard of it and you've played it. Okay. All right. Okay. That's not okay. I thought it was crazy. Dave Gardner says Appa Clemens 1988 versus Oakland. Wow.
Apparently you're in with this crowd, IDJ, and that's not necessarily good to put on your business card.
I guess not. All right, back off to what, 28?
Yep.
28.
Ooh.
28 features my number 28 game features, I would say, one of my three most hated mechanics in board gaming in Push Your Luck. But the fact that this game features that and still ranks this highly on the list says something about how good it actually is to me. And this game is Lucidity Sixsided Nightmares from Foxtail Games. So you're trapped in basically you end up trapped in the world of dreams, and you're trying to gain enough power to escape. There are several different nightmares in this one and several different automas that you can play against, and you've got the dice there. So you basically you have one of three different tracks that you can dream on. You draw your dice out, return however many to the bag, then you roll your dreams and put them on your sheet. If you get 15 power or have 2 power per nightmare you awaken in the solo mode, you win. Otherwise, if you end up becoming a nightmare, you lose the game. So I can easily pass an evening just in playing several playthroughs of this game. In fact, when I played it for the channel, I guess I kind of overestimated how much time I was going to need. So I ended up fitting 2 playthroughs into that first video. But I could definitely see this hitting the channel again and again as Wednesday content. So my number 28, Lucidity, Sixsided Nightmares.
Cool.
Looks like a great game. I've got it. It's sitting here waiting for me to try and get it on the channel. And every time I go to do it, PhoenixKnight does it like the week beforehand. Takes all my thunder away. But it's all right. It's all right. I would like to do it. I would like to play it sometime because it looks like it's another one of these games. Very simple mechanics, but man, there's so many deep decisions. What do I do? And then once you fall down that rabbit hole, you just keep spinning down and down and down, and you can never work your way out, can you?
Nope.
It's Chris, I think you would like this because you love these tough games like Ghost Stories and stuff. You would like this game because it's
I'll have to check it out. I'm gonna have to check it out.
All righty.
My number 28. Last week I mentioned games that shaped my childhood, like cribbage and so on. And my number 28 is yet another one of these, and I still play it to this day. And that game is Backgammon. I've played for so long that when I roll the dice, very seldom is it even a choice for the move I'm going to make because it is so programmed into my head. I see the dice, the layout of the board. I know what move I'm making. It's already dictated. And I've taken a style of play over the years where I try to fill my home court. I try to point it up so that way I get someone on the bar, go for the jugular, and they have no way to come in. And I just keep taking turns while they sit there and watch me. And Mom has Alzheimer's. And little by little is slipping. She still does okay. She's got good quality of life living with my sister. And she taught me how to play backgammon. And the one thing that she still has not lost a step on is backgammon. When I show up, I'm not just spending time with Mom. I'm playing an opponent. She's still able to play this game. She knows it. We still draw our games. It's always 2-2, 3-3. I mean, it's one thing she remembers and is still very good at, and we play on the regular. So another classic game on my list, number 28, Backgammon.
Nice.
Awesome.
Good game. All right. Well, my game, number 28, is first entry of a game from Down Under. Part of a trilogy by Shem Phillips and S.J. McDonald. It's a West Kingdom game. And any idea which one it might be?
I know exactly which one it is.
You do? Which one do you think it is? It's the heaviest one of the three.
It's the one that you sent me in the list, remember?
Oh, yeah. I didn't think you did because the Gentes game you hadn't listed, so I figured you didn't have my list or something, so I wasn't sure. But yeah,
I had it. I didn't put it out there because you never told us what the game name was.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. You were waiting for me to.
I was waiting for you to announce the game.
Okay. Gotcha. I thought you just didn't have it. Okay, Paladins of the West Kingdom. It's the heaviest of the West Kingdom games. It's the second of 3 games. It's, yes, a worker placement game. The first one of the night, official one of the night. It's got really, it's a pretty heavy game. It's a game where you're drafting each round you have you have a deck of cards, which is Paladins, of course, and you're choosing one of the 3 Paladins. Each Paladin will have a different power and will give you different workers. You choose one, put it on to use that round. The other one you put on top of the deck, and the other one you bury underneath. What's really cool about it is the actions that you take are you have to put multiple colored workers and different colored workers to do different actions. There's garrisoning in it. There's what can you say? Fulfilling orders for the king. There's you can take debts. You can go on, build fortifications to prevent raiders from coming in. It can hire workers to assistants to help you. That give you resources. It's really thinky and really puzzly. It's a really satisfying heavy game in the Paladin series, and in the West Kingdom series, and that is my number 28, Paladins of the West Kingdom.
Cool.
Yeah, that's It's a table hog is the only problem. If you're playing solo and you're trying to film it, it's a problem.
The AI in it is more a pretty complicated AI. I'd say it's probably around a 6 or 7 out of 10 for complexity. So it does take a lot to run the AI, but I still find it satisfying.
Yeah. It's just I wish it just took up a little bit less space, but man, you got cards and boards and it does have some really cool mechanics with the worker placement
and I'm just talking about I just have the base game. I don't even have any expansions, and it's
I've got the expansions, and man, you can't get all that stuff back in the box. Holy cow, fill it up. All right, my number. What are we at? Number, Chris?
28.
28. Thank you very much. My number 28 is a sports game. It's the company that I love to hate, but the sport that I love to love is, of course, Stratomatic Hockey. Hockey.
Little crossover there, brother.
It's just so hard to not like this game. It's just so many bad things about the company, the way they design the cards, the way they don't have any of the seasons available that you want to get. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, but the gameplay is so good. Unfortunately, they didn't put enough effort into making this kind of rounding this game out into like I just played their basketball game, and it's basically the same system with outside and inside shots and rebounds and stuff, but the hockey is just so generic compared to the basketball. Unfortunately, it's just I wish there was a little bit more meat on the bones. Unfortunately, this is probably still my number 1 hockey game, though I don't think I have any lower than number 28, Stratomatic Hockey.
Cool.
Yeah. 27.
Right, my number 27 game is the third pandemic system game on my list. And apparently I could have used this one for my war game list this year, but my number 27 is Pandemic Fall of Rome from Z-Man Games. This one, you're taking control of different leaders in the Roman Empire and venturing around the territories of Rome, trying to either forge alliances with or destroy the various tribes in the ancient Roman world. The theme definitely shines through in this one. There's a bit of strategy in how you use the decline track, because you can use that to strengthen some of your event cards, but you need to be careful because if you end up down at the bottom of the track or you get Rome sacked, you just lose the game on the spot. So, and I know I keep harping on replayability with some of these games, but this is one where I could see replayability being a bit of a problem, just because you're really doing the same thing and the exact same thing in this one, depending on how the cards come out. I don't know, I'm kind of rambling on that at this point, but my number 27, Pandemic Fall of Rome.
Yeah, it's they're all moving kind of down the same track. I can see where you can say they're kind of samey because the green ones are always coming down the green track, right?
Yeah.
The orange ones come down the orange one. You don't have a lot of variety there, but how they come out and when they come out, I guess, is different every time. So yeah.
We have a guess.
Yeah, this one of all the pandemic ones, this has been the most intriguing for me to try because it's almost got that, the barbarians are coming and you got to protect yourself and kind of keep your castle alive. So I think that looks very interesting to me. So I'll have to check out your playthrough for sure.
Alrighty, my number 27. And this is going to be the first of 3 games in a row that were mentioned on Geek and Sundry's tabletop video series with Will Wheaton back around 2012 to 2015. But I got into watching that series and enjoyed seeing some of the games. And a lot of my purchases were based on watching those videos. And the first one here at number 27 is part of a series. Now, the game that was played on the channel was Forbidden Desert, but my number 27 of the Forbidden series is Forbidden Island. A lot of people like Desert more, but I think Island is so cool. In this game, you're a bunch of treasure hunters who have flown into this island, and you need to round up all the relics before time runs out. And time does run out when the island just sinks right the heck out from beneath you.
Yes.
The tension really ramps up near the end, and it's always a close call with this game. I've only played it solo, taking on 3 characters at once, and it's not a hard game nor a long game.
Yeah.
I played Forbidden Desert with Ron, and the way the map changes in both of these games is very different and definitely inspired. This is a wonderful series of games, the Forbidden series, and Forbidden Island is my favorite of the series, and it is right here at number 27.
Great game.
It's,
Great solo.
And cooperative too, right?
I'm sorry?
Yes, you can play up to 4 characters, I think. Like I said, I've never played Forbidden Island with the full cadre of...
It's 2 to 4 is what it's actually listed.
I played it 2-player.
But solo, I play with multiple characters. I play with 3 characters.
I think what they're saying is you can play with 2 to 4 characters, and how many people you have there runs them. So you can either play one with 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever.
And I always play with Insane with The Water is Rising. I mean, I don't mess around. I want a fun game, and that makes it a fun game.
My first game on Board Game Arena was Forbidden Island with Herman Lutman. So
yeah,
fun game. Awesome.
It is.
Cool. All right. So number 27. So my number 27 is another one in the series of the West Kingdom games, and that is Viscounts of the West Kingdom. It's amazing how they came out so close together.
Right.
This one I think is a bit, I don't want to say lighter, but it's a bit more streamlined. I think it flows a little bit better than Paladins does. It's got modular boards to it, and you got like a castle area in the middle. There's the whole card. You're hiring workers. You're building buildings. You're creating manuscript. There's basically 4 actions you're taking. You can build a building. You can get a manuscript. You can build in the castle area, which has a little bit of area control in it in the middle there. And depending upon where you send your Viscount, either in the outer areas where you build the buildings or do trading, the inner area is where you fulfill manuscripts and do the castling in the middle there. And the castling is just really cool the way it works in the middle in that gray little area there too. You place no workers in there, and then they push other workers to the front. When you get 3 or more of your color in there, they push other workers out, but you get the other workers you push out get a bonus. And then you're trying to get to the middle of the castle and get like dominance in the middle. So a little bit like King of the Hill in there. I tend to go for that because it's just the most satisfying aspect of it to me. The solo is amazing in this because the solo AI has different boards they use, and depending upon what board they use, they focus on a different thing like building or manuscripts or whatever it is. But it's really a competitive AI, and it's just it's a small box game but to me it's the most streamlined of the Viscounts, and it's a 3rd in the series. Architects is a bit too light, Paladins a bit too heavy, but Viscounts is like just right. So
awesome.
That's my number 27.
And of course, that's the one I don't have.
What's that?
I tried both of the other ones, but I hear a lot of good things about that one. So
yeah,
maybe one of these days I'll pick that one up.
Yeah, I think it's well worth it. I think you'll like it.
Oh, what are we at? 27, Chris?
27 for you.
27 is a war game. It's from the war game. It's from a war game company that I love to hate, and the worst war game company out there, which follows up the sports game company that was the worst sports game company out there. Unfortunately, sometimes I like the games that these companies make. Unfortunately, and this one happens to me by DVG, and it is, of course, Warfighter, the World War II tactical combat card game. It's a very good game. I enjoy the system. There's a lot going on. You can build your little squad. I think, Chris, didn't we play this together?
We did, and it was on my list last week.
All right, yeah, I thought it was.
Yep.
Okay. And you're basically moving your own squad along. You're gonna run into enemies. You're gonna try to defeat those enemies and move up. And there's a lot of strategy that goes into it, and planning and trying to figure out what you can do. But you could run up into bad situations where you don't have any location cards, which means you can't scout ahead and see what the terrain is, which means you can't move into it. You could get an enemy that you're not prepared to get out of the blue that shows up. So I think it's a really good game from the game company. I hate to hate. I love to hate, but it's really good. I would highly recommend any war gamer that is looking for a solo game to try out Warfighter. Now, you've played this, haven't you, Phoenix?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, you haven't played this one? Okay.
No, I
Chris,
haven't.
you played it, obviously. And
Yeah.
Higher Ground Gaming. We need to get PhoenixKnight and Higher Ground Gaming to try it out and put it on
I do want to
You're
try
thinking
that
about
one
getting
out.
it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, it's been on my list. I've looked at it.
Yeah, Tim Sales says, excellent choice. Thanks, Tim. Good to see you. Good
I
to
was-
see you.
I was thinking off and on about getting that, but I just finished sleeving everything for Marvel Champions earlier today, and I don't want to go for another big game that I've got to buy a lot of sleeves for.
You don't have to sleeve it. You don't have to.
It just makes shuffling too much easier to not sleeve.
The only thing you really need to shuffle in this game is they got one deck that is that you're drawing out to get your hand, your hand mechanics. Everything else isn't really shuffled though. Everything else is already on the table. Oh, that's not true. Your enemy deck will be shuffled.
Yeah, your hostiles and your command cards.
Yeah. So there's a few decks, but it's not like everything
That's
needs.
They're small decks. I mean, they're actually kind of hard to shuffle anyway, so it wouldn't
And
hurt.
the other thing is, I don't know if you want to jump in that rabbit hole because there's literally like 800 expansions for it.
That's what I was looking at, and
Yeah.
part of why I'm so hesitant.
Don't need them. You don't need them. The
True.
core game is good on its own, and if you have an aspect that interests you in particular, maybe get one or two expansions that allow you to enjoy that aspect.
Especially with now having everything for both Arkham Horror, LCG, and Marvel Champions, I'm not sure I want to jump down yet another rabbit hole.
Yeah. 26. How about you jump down that hole?
Do it.
We're funnily enough, we're talking about the Arkham Horror Files. Anybody who's been around my channel for a while knows my love of the Arkham Horror Files. And if you don't, go spend some time on my channel. You'll see how much I enjoy playing the Arkham Horror Files. My number 26 game is probably the one game I don't see getting on the channel. And that's mostly because Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition involves the app. And if you remember my playthrough of Star Wars Imperial Assault, I was actually having quite a few problems with the app where the camera didn't seem to want to focus on it properly. So I just didn't like that too much with it.
I don't mean to interrupt you because you're on a great roll, but you do know that Steam has this app on it, so you can play it right off of your computer.
Yeah, but the problem's still going to be kind of the constant back and forth with the camera between the board and the app. Actually, the other problem is that the camera is set up in the game. It'll be set up in the game room, but my computer's out here in the living room, so I'm not walking the camera back and forth between game room and computer just to make sure I get the app nice and clean.
You need to get to your laptop, buddy.
Yeah, but I had a laptop when I first moved out, when I first went to college, and I moved into desktops after I got my first job, and I've just had a desktop ever since. But in Mansions of Madness, you actually take on the familiar cast of characters in the Arkham Horror Files, going through a dungeon crawl scenario where you build the dungeon as you go. And you guys know I've talked about the scenario focus gameplay, at least of 3rd edition on the channel before. There's very much a scenario focus here as well, and I think that hurts replayability for this game. So my number 26, Mansions of Madness 2nd edition.
Alrighty, my number 26, and we've got a little bit of crossover here, a three-way at this point with Higher Ground Gaming and ID Jester. Let me begin. Owlbears. There has been an owlbear incident. Civil unrest is blamed on the recent owlbear incident. Any game that can have you think these words has to be worth a try, and Lords of Waterdeep is most certainly that. Set in the Dungeons and Dragons city of Waterdeep, where you place your workers and try to get adventurers and money while competing for quests and trying to score the most points. I enjoy this game, but it means a little something extra to me as well. My son loves to play it with me when I can peel him away from his Xbox or a Switch. We have some go-tos that we like to play, but he has taken the time to really learn and excel Lords of Waterdeep. The game we played last October had me racing ahead, only to learn in final scoring that my son was, you guessed it, the builder. And he came from behind, and when he revealed the builder, my face went from victory to oh no, because I did the quick math, and yep, he came from behind to beat me 171 to 167, fair and square, and I was so proud of him. And this is a great game, especially when I get to be the Silver Stars and I get to sing the Flurry. Well, I did once, but now they just cast silence on me. Lords of Waterdeep, my number 26.
I love the builder. The builder is my favorite one to play.
Great one. Great game. Great game. Awesome.
I think I played Lords of
Solo,
Waterdeep.
great too, to be honest.
I played Lords of Waterdeep once, and I don't know if it was just the group I was playing with, because two of the people were playing very cutthroat, but I just was not a big fan of Lords of Waterdeep.
You got to have fun playing this game. I mean, yeah, you can play it seriously, but since it's based on D&D, you got to play it partially tongue in cheek to really pull it off. Yeah, I think you're right. You got to have the right group. You know.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's
especially for learning.
It is going to be very confrontational because there's not that many spots.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Everyone's going to need black cubes, and everyone's going to need red cubes, and everyone's going to need green cubes. So they're going to fight you over those spots for sure. Yep.
But anybody teaching a board game if they're going to be any good at teaching a board game, they need to be able to temper their gameplay. Not necessarily curve it back, but don't be so you know.
Yeah.
I
try
not to Monopoly.
No.
All right. Well, that's a perfect segue into my game with the cubes, because this game is got a very unique mechanism. But first, I'm going to mention it. It's my one Stefan Feld entry into this one, and this is a game by Queen Games. It's about Amerigo Vespucci and his exploring the new world. There's a lot of exploration in it. Building, conquering islands, just building trading posts. And that game is Amerigo. It's a rather big box. It's a huge box. But it's got probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, mechanism in the game. And that is this cube tower right here. It's not your ordinary dice tower. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it's got all kinds of little widgets and everything inside there that catch cubes, and you're placing square cubes in there, and a lot of them get caught. So basically, I think it's 6 or 7 actions in the game. I want to say 6, but 6 or 7 actions in the game. In the beginning of the game, right there. Look at right there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, there's 7. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different actions. Each one of those colors represents a particular action. I believe there's 7 cubes of each one. And before you start the game, you take all those cubes, one color at a time, and drop them in the tower. And a certain amount will come out. After you seed the tower there, what you're going to do is you're going to go around starting with the blue. Yeah, just hold it there for a second. You start with the blue action, which is sailing. So what you do is that's the main action you're going to take now after you see the tower. You take those cubes once again, throw them through the tower, and different colors will come out. The strength of the action is the color of the die that comes out the most. Like say 4 blue come out. That is going to be the strength of your action. If a black or a red or a green come out, you can take those actions also but they'll all be at a strength of 4. So it's kind of a unique mechanism, which I've never seen in any other game except for his re-implementation. A new game that he just came out called Marrakesh. But you go around and you take and you you keep feeding those actions, those cubes in to go around. And it's just, you wouldn't think it would work, but it works surprisingly well. So there's shipping, there's building, there's buying tiles, there's buying resource.
The red is like attacking or something, cross swords or something.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. The black is pirates, is a pirate action. Yep.
Green is building. It looks like a gear. The brown looks like a gear.
Yeah, getting bonus tiles.
This looks like ore, so maybe it's mining or something.
Which one? The white one is wild. I know that. The white one's wild.
Oh,
you
the
can
one's
do anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But it's going up on tracks. It's just, I don't know. It's just very, see that track right there, the one on the bottom there. It's kind of a mixture of a turn order track as well as a bonus you can take track. It allows you to take a different action that the white action will, wherever your disc is at, that will determine you can take that action, or you can move up on the white track, that kind of thing. You'll get points based on how far you move up on the tracks. Cannons are the pirate thing. That's the tower right there in action. But it's just something about taking a whole bunch of cubes, dumping them in, and seeing what comes out. It's kind of a little bit of a press your luck there, but the way you choose your actions, and those are islands you can conquer, and there's area control in that too. And the board changes depending upon how many players. It gets smaller or large, larger board, more players.
Yeah.
But it's just, and the islands come out differently depending upon how you form the tile. No game is totally the same, but it plays surprisingly smooth and fast too, for the size game, and as you wouldn't think it would, but yeah, it's a very satisfying game. It's Amerigo by Stefan Feld and Queen Games.
You like Stefan Feld?
I do. He's my favorite designer.
You know how I can tell is every time you talk about one of his games, you are so passionate about it. You want to get the information out there. You love talking about it. You could just go on for hours about it, and it just shows that you are a passionate Feld fan. Let's just put it that way.
Yep.
All right, my number 26, and then we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. My number 26 is a civilization building game from the humble beginnings of civilization through the historic ages of progress. Mankind has lived, fought, and built together in nations.
Wow.
My number 26 game of all time. Me and Chris came along this game. I don't even know how, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I think we played it remotely, and I really, really enjoy it. I think it's a great game. The expansion's a little hard to get, but if you get it, then you can actually play different civilizations, which have different special abilities and special powers. And the AI in this game rocks. It is so easy, and it's so what's the word I want to? It's not challenging. It's kind of it plays like a player, right? It gives you those challenges, and there's nobody there that's giving you these challenges, and they can take all the cards away that you want to buy. So like every time it's your turn, it's like, what is the most important thing? Because I could buy this, but if I buy this and I want this card, I got to hope the AI doesn't take that card or I'm screwed. So a lot of really good choices. If you like civilization building games, it is probably my favorite civilization game of all time. That is Nations.
Yeah. Out of this one, and I like the dice game version of this.
Yep.
I'm not going to say anything about this game right now.
It refuses to.
That sounds like foreshadowing to me.
Foreshadowing, yeah.
We shall see. All right, everyone, we're going to take a quick 4 or 5 minute break, get something to drink, and take a stretch our legs or whatever, and then we'll be right back, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Indeed, we will be right back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, halfway home, boys and girls. Halfway home. I'm going to put this back on the shelf so it's out of my way. All right, halfway home.
Mm-hmm.
So far, so good.
Mm-hmm.
So many good games, man. There's just so many good games.
And they're getting better.
And they just keep getting better and better. Every week we get to talk about better and better games, man.
Mm-hmm.
Next week you realize we're down to our top 20 of all time.
I know,
Oh my
huh?
God, that's crazy.
Crazy.
Top 20 next week. Holy cow.
Yeah, the cream of the crop.
Starting
sure.
to get into some of my forever games.
Ooh. The ones that you'll never part with, huh?
Forever games.
And if somebody tries to, they might find your body.
Hmm. I think he's romantically involved with these games.
Oh,
yes.
All right. He's going to like my next one.
Hi.
We're just talking
Oh, yeah.
about all the wonderful games and then Higher Ground Gaming. He says something that just makes so much sense. He says, and they just keep getting better. And I'm like,
Yep.
all right, you're right. They just keep getting better and better because we're getting lower and lower on the list. That's awesome.
Mhm. Like the lower on the list.
Self-promoting there.
Get it?
Oh, brother. Wow.
So how'd you come up with your name, Chris? Lower, slower.
Well, I told the other guys before the stream, Delaware has 3 whole counties. And they were originally counties of the colony of Pennsylvania that William Penn had. And William Penn chartered a second colony, which was Delaware, and took the lower 3 counties and made them a separate state. So up north is Wilmington, Newcastle County, and Kent County and Sussex County, where I live. And southern Newcastle County is the C&D Canal, the Chesapeake and Delaware Canal. So everything above that is Wilmington city life, and everything below that is lower, slower Delaware.
Oh. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's
There
me.
you go. Now you know.
Mm-hmm.
More than you ever needed to know about Delaware, I think.
Also a great place to bring along a railroad station.
That's true.
Uh-oh.
That's
Is that a little
true.
segue?
That's a little segue, yeah. For our match that we had the one day on the line. Arr.
Mm.
Railways.
I was going in Delaware, and look, I ended up losing. So,
Stay out next time.
right? Remember that? Lower Higher Ground Gaming, you ended up building in the Midwest.
I
St.
did.
Louis, right?
I did.
And winning
Yeah,
because of
I
St.
took over your
Louis.
territory.
Yep.
You did. And then I took over Boston, and I lost. I should tell
I
you
know.
something.
That's what you get when you go to Boston.
Right.
Boston.
Number 25, PhoenixKnight. Number 25.
My number 25 is a roll and write from Fantasy Flight Studios, which is basically a regular company fixture on the channel. It's from a universe that I just started getting into within the last couple of years. It's a modification of a much bigger game, and this one is Twilight Inscription. So this one's set in the Twilight Imperium universe. You take on the various factions. It's kind of a civilization builder, but you've got 4 sheets of dry erase paper that you're trying to manage. You've got your industry sheet. I think it's exploration, I want to say. Expansion. I believe it's exploration. I forget what the sheets are.
Industry.
I see industry, expansion. But of course, I don't think the other two.
Probably not on this page. Let's see.
Warfare. One, and of course, I can't read it from here, but yeah. Anyway, you'll have your 4 sheets of dry erase paper, where you're trying to build the various ships and build up your civilization for warfare ultimately for wars with the neighbors. There's a lot of replayability in this one, but one of my biggest problems with this game comes once again in the components. These dice are huge. I can't even fit them in my dice tower. It drives me nuts.
That's a big roll, right?
I have a question about that game. Is it, because it's kind of on the radar, I'm not sure. Does it feel as big as it looks? Do you get what I'm asking?
Kind of. So the couple of times I've played it on the channel, I think it's run a little over an hour, but I've also played it a few times before. So it's actually a fairly easy game to learn. And in fact, one of the things I really like about this game in particular is it's actually got, where is it? Here we go. It's actually got a specific play as you learn. So you'll actually walk through all 4 of the sheets, then you'll start your faction setup, then you'll go into the rest of the game as normal.
Okay. I'll have to look into it.
I think you'll like that one, Chris. You like the Hadrian's Wall, so.
Yes.
Phoenix, have you played Hadrian's Wall?
No.
Okay. I was going to ask.
There's a space version of Welcome to that's called Welcome to the Moon. That's supposed to be pretty good too for a rolling night.
I tried that like once or twice, and I'm still kind of trying to make heads or tails of it. But there's so much other stuff that I need to learn that it's kind of pushed down the list a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, number 25.
Number 25, and as I said, this is the 3rd game out of 3 here on the list where I heard of it from Geek and Sundry's Tabletop with Will Wheaton. And this game it's one of those games, I'm not a huge fan of the genre, but this game just sucks me in. I mean, I'm so into it. The guys are trying to cram Valium down my throat at the end of the game to get me to calm down. And I really try not to be an all alpha gamer, but I can't help it with this game, my number 25, Dead of Winter by Isaac Vega and John Gilmore with Flat Hat Games. I know all of the food or gas will be in the crisis pile, and then everything will be okay. Even though 3 of my characters have frostbite and 2 wounds, and if I could just find a way for Sparky the stunt dog to tell Mike Cho he's not a real ninja, this game ramps it up with the addition of zombies at the end of every turn, and bad things are going to happen. And when your fellow colonists go for the food supply and you decide to off one of them to make an example for the rest, no, seriously, guys, colony morale will never be a problem. My number 25, Dead of Winter.
Great game. Great game. I just repicked it up because it's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Cool. All right. Well, switching to zombies to Victorian England.
Of course.
Very much, if you ever watch the show Downton Abbey, it's basically Downton Abbey, the board game. It's by Dan Halligan, who is an awesome designer, very passionate, does his own how to play videos, very responsive to the community, and the community has actually done a lot to make this game better. And that game is ID's had it on his channel, right? Obsession.
Yeah. Yes, I have twice. I've had it on my channel.
Yes. But this game really is good. There is an implementation on BGA, a good one, but it's just a very satisfying game in which you're in charge of a family trying to become the most prestigious family in all of Derbyshire or something like that.
I will say you get these little play box books to put all your little family tokens in, and they are without a doubt the best boxes of any game ever.
Yep.
Like they come with these little crest, embroidered crest and everything on the
box. They're great. And everything just fits in the box nice. Just they're super cool. but each family has a little bit of a power. Like, so basically, you're going to perform different activities such as cricket on the south lawn, or tea in the I don't know, in one of the rooms or something, like in the ballroom or something like that. And you're trying to win the favors of it's a brother and sister, I think it is. You're trying to win the favor of a certain. There's a whole backstory to it, but of a family, in order to have them come around into this prestige guest. There's a certain hate. There's clients, people in it that like will destroy your reputation in your family, and backbiting and that kind of stuff. There's servants that you have to hire to go on different activities, so you have to know when to use. You have to have the right amount of servants to go with your prestige guests and things like that. There is you're building up your estate. It's just a very satisfying, mechanically sound game. Just a very very fun game. Yeah, you get monuments and stuff like that. It's just there's different versions of the game too, where you can reveal, go with hidden information, or you can go with totally like everything is revealed and you can plan for it, or it's just different game modes to play, and it's just very, very satisfying. And a surprise game that I didn't think thematically I would like, but after I started playing this game, I actually watched the whole Downton Abbey series and the movies, so it really draws you into the theme, and it's really, really a great game.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about your very few actions you can do on your turn, and you have resources with your different maids and butlers and servants, and you have to make sure that you got the right people for the right event, for the right thing at the right time. To get all these things to line up every turn is a miracle. And you're trying to do that every single turn. And the game only lasts like 15 turns. So
yeah, there's an extended version. I think it lasts 20, but still, yeah.
Great game.
England Zombicide game.
Well, my number 25, yes, 25 is wow, this game literally started about 40, and then I got an expansion for it recently and played the expansion, and boom, mind blown. It was so good, the expansion. I said, I've got to move this down. This game is just going to keep getting better and better with all the little expansions they got coming out for it. This is, of course, Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition. I cannot say how much I enjoyed their Crisis expansion. Holy cow. It turns the game upside down. It's like the game now is everyone is been on Mars and there's millions of people there, and an asteroid comes and hits it, and your job now, instead of trying to build everything up, is to keep all the levels maximum. And it really turns the game on its head. And I keep seeing this game. There's several other expansions. I know PhoenixKnight did a live unboxing on his channel, a couple of the expansions. Discovery, and what was the other one, PhoenixKnight?
I think it's Discovery, Crisis, and Foundations. I just unboxed Foundation on.
Now, once I get these other ones, I think it's just going to keep going down and down the list. Right now, it's number 25. It's really, really good. It's Terraforming Mars that you can play solo really, really well, and I would highly, 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 highly. I cannot say this enough. I want to say it one more time. Highly recommend that you get the deluxe version with the dual layered boards, because you're going to be moving cubes around all the time if you don't have the double layer boards, because it's literally the same price. You just have to find it.
Yep.
So get the dual layer boards. It's awesome.
Yeah. Even regular Terraforming Mars is so much better with the dual layer boards.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm so glad that because I was there when you played your first game, and man, you were just not getting it. And I know I pointed out one or two things, and I'm glad you've come to like this game. It is a good game.
Yeah, I really have. This is one of these games that I was not very thrilled with in the beginning, and probably, like you said, probably maybe in 100, 150 group, and then I played it another time, and I started to, this isn't too bad, and then I played it a third time, and I was like, this is maybe a 50 or 40 best game of all time, and then I played that new expansion. I was like, bam, this is great. I love it.
Good.
This is actually a crossover with me on my list because it showed up at number 43 on my list, and I can definitely see this one climbing with the expansions, but I need to get it out. And as a fun fact, this was the first game I actually played in the current apartment that I'm living in now.
Oh, really?
This was one I used to kind of help me get the feel for the recording space a little bit. I wanted to keep it small just to, again, get the feel for the space. And because I wasn't sure what I was walking into in terms of recording space.
Right. What do we got? 24?
Four.
My number 24 game is right back into the Harry Potter universe from USAopoly. And if somebody were to ask me, what would you pull out to teach them deck builders? This is probably a game I'd reach for. My number 24 is Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, where you play the Harry Potter characters once again in this time a deck building environment, trying to defeat the villains before they take over whatever locations you're in. You do deal with Voldemort, but he doesn't come in until game 5, I want to say, because this is actually decently faithful to the books. So if you've read the books and or seen the movies, you'll notice a lot of familiar things here. And as you might have seen, if you can go back to that shot with the dice, Jester.
Jester? No way.
The dice are similarly huge as in Twilight Inscription. So that's kind of a little obnoxious thing to keep in mind. But I'm a ways away from having to worry about getting the dice on the channel. But anyway, my number 24, Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle.
Cool.
Awesome. Guess I can't remember if I've seen that on my list yet or not. Let me see. Harry, let me look up and see if I've had that yet. Find Harry. We might see that again sometime soon. Let's see. Great game. I love this game. It is a everything comes in its own little envelope every chapter, and you get new characters, you get new enemies, you get new cards, you get everything kind of as you progress along. It's awesome game. Awesome.
Yeah. Just before Krista starts, one thing I'm noticing is that we definitely have a good variety in here, and I think probably Phoenix and I are probably the most polar opposite, which is fine. We're different people, but it's kind of cool how we can get it's like yep, nope. But yeah, but it's cool.
Well, we're getting ready for a yep here with my 24. This is a crossover with ID Jester.
Ooh, hey.
And we just missed it by 2 places.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed? Who would have thunk?
I watched IDJ play it, and I was like, this looks good. I got to see if I can find it cheap. And I happened to find it on Board Game Co., Alex's website. He was culling his collection and was getting rid of a copy of this. And I got it, and there was actually a score sheet with his name on it, which is kind of cool. But no, I do enjoy this game. Civilization building. You can create a phalanx, write the Bible, fight the Battle of Saratoga, and create the Ford Motor Company. It is a great game. I really do enjoy it. It was my 24.
Is that Dale the Casual Gamer that was chimed in there?
That is Dale the Casual Gamer.
Yeah, I watch a lot of his
what's going on, dude?
Shadows of Brimstone videos, their unboxings and everything.
And chat, everybody. How's everyone doing tonight?
Yep. I've spent a lot of money because of Dale.
I know, right? Right. He's cost me quite a pretty penny. He has. Yeah. Great guy. Great. I did an interview with him a couple times. He's had me on his show a couple times, and then unfortunately for the YouTube community, he's kind of taken a little bit of step back away from doing YouTubes as much now, and now he's broke. He says.
I'm broke. I hear you.
It's too bad. We love to see him back in the saddle again sometime there, Dale. But
whenever you're ready, Dale, I totally get it. Whenever you're ready.
I understand just getting overwhelmed. That's for sure.
I took a break for a while. So, all right.
Breaks.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a break. All right, and number 24. What's that?
Speaking of breaks.
Oh, sorry, Chris. Yeah. Oh, no, is it my turn?
No. You. Yeah, no.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Okay. All right. My number 24 is basically the game that put Friedman Freeze on the map. It's definitely his highest ranked game. It's a game that I definitely enjoy, in which you're building houses and power grids across Europe. It's called the German version is Funkenschlagen or something like that, but it's Power Grid. Love the market system in this game. We have a present and a future market. Love the way the turn order works in this game. And the resource management, buying and selling, the market works on the oil, the nuclear power, the energy, whether I do clean energy and just building the cities, and the cost increases, and do I go for that extra house and produce that? It just got a great market system in it. It's a really engaging game. It's a great economic game. It's just the only thing I don't like about it is they did do a reprint. I mean, a different version of it where they cleaned up the rulebook. The
re-implementation.
Yeah, re-implement. The rulebook was horrible in the first version I get. I couldn't follow that for the life of me. But yeah, definitely a solid game with many maps of the world you can play as, add different rules to the maps, and it does have a solar version.
I think it's called Revised Edition now, isn't it?
Yeah, Revised Edition. I think I have the original one. I don't have the revised.
I need to. I've been debating about because now people are selling their old ones to get the Revised Edition. I'm like, should I buy the old stuff that's going cheap, or should I wait and get the new stuff?
I don't think it's that much different. I don't think I think the game is still good.
Oh yeah, it looks great. I love.
Yeah,
it looks awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, my number. Where am I? I'm a list down here, aren't I? Yes, I am. Oh yes. All right, my number 24. There's where I'm at. This is one of the all-time classic solo games. If you're a solo gamer, you have to have this. You probably have all the expansions for it. There's 3 really good expansions. And because it adds so many cool things, this is a tough game to win. It is super hard. In fact, I would go as far as to say it is probably the toughest solo game out there to win, according to people on the internet. That game, of course, Robinson Crusoe, Adventures on the Cursed Islands.
Bing, bing.
This is I enjoy the expansions because it just adds so many variety to the game. A little bit more of this, a little bit more of that, more cards, more of this. And when you add it all up, it just gives you, what game can you go and fight King Kong in one scenario, and the next scenario you got to go and track down a bunch of escaped convicts that escaped out of your ship? There's just so many varied scenarios. Another one where you have to build a huge bonfire and light it before 10 days happen, or you miss the ship that goes by. Every scenario is very different. It is a solo classic. I think anyone that plays solo gaming should have it and try it.
Yeah.
I just got this game this week, and I totally agree. It's the kind of game that knocks your butt in the dirt and leaves you begging for more.
Yep. And it doesn't matter how good you get at it, you can kick your butt anytime.
Yep.
Yeah, I figured it'd be right up your alley, Chris. You like those hard games.
Oh, yeah, man. I do. Yep. Very thinky. Very good.
Yep.
I've got enough on the list right now that I don't really need to pour gasoline on the fire. Thank you very much.
20, what are we at? 23?
Mm-hmm.
I believe this one will be a crossover with, at least Higher Ground Gaming. Maybe a crossover with Jester. I don't know about Lower Slower. But
Role player. That's my
I
guess.
mentioned before how you can use a pair of games to roll up a character for a tabletop RPG. I featured half that suggested idea on earlier in the list. This is the other half of that, where this is Role Player from Thunderworks Games. So, as I mentioned, you use the different colored dice to roll up your stats for your character, whereas you'd use Call to Adventure to roll up the backstory for your character.
Yep.
And obviously, it's been talked about before, so I'm not going to touch too much further on that. But my number 23 is Role Player.
Good game.
Very good. I think it's everyone had it on their list. I know I have.
I have not had it on my list yet.
Not yet.
All right. Let me switch here.
All right.
23.
Number 23 again here. This is going to be a little bit of crossover with El Señor Higher Ground Gaming. I like lighter games. I like puzzly, thinky games, and I love pretty games that are nice to look at. My number 23 Cascadia lines right up with all three of those conditions. By AEG Games, designed by Beth Sobel. Cascadia is a pretty straightforward game. You choose a habitat and a wildlife tile combination and play them. And you score points by having certain arrangements of where your wildlife is living and also by habitat patterns. And you can spend other resources to draw different combinations to get that river just long enough. Or, well, bears. Bears are good and score lots of points if you can swing it. But
Bears.
the game is very nice to look at and doesn't take up an awful lot of space or time to set it up or break it down. This board game is just right for me.
Yep.
Bears.
It's a great game to bring people into the hobby, I think, too.
Yes, it is it's number
great
47
game.
overall. It is abstract number 1 and is family game number 4. And in fact, if we weren't going live right now, I'd pull it out and play it right now. It's so good. So good. And every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I should play that game. But
yeah.
My number 23, Cascadia.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I can get the box here. So this is my highest rank dice chucking goodness game.
Dice chucker.
Flying Frog. It's a 10th anniversary edition of this game.
Ribbit.
I think it's probably the closest game I have thematically to a lot of, the Arkham horror type games. And that is Touch of Evil, 10th anniversary edition.
Touch of hernia.
Yeah, I know, huh? But thematically, it really speaks to me. It's basically it takes place during Revolutionary War time. A lot of the old folklore of the time, and just the headless horseman or the vampire or the banshee or whatever it is. You can play it against all these different types of villains, and it's set in a New England town, which is probably what draws me in even more too. During revolutionary times. Like Flying Frog goodness, the characters all dress up in garb, and they take pictures of them doing fun stuff. So the characters right there have different abilities, similar to Shadows of Brimstone and the other Flying Frog games. The Drifter, he's a crossover character in a lot of the characters. I think he's on Last Night in Earth and a few others. These are different elders that you can hire, and you don't know if the elders are going to go with the villain or if they do have a Cthulhu type character in it too. I can't think of the name of it, but the elders can either work for you, or they have secrets, and depending upon what secrets they have, they either go with you or if you reveal those secrets, they can go with the enemy and fight against you. You got to find out where the lair is. You got to build up equipment. You go to different areas like the windmill or the covered bridge, and you got this card decks for each one, and you gather equipment, or you could reveal a monster which you have to fight. And there's what do they call it? investigation tokens, which you collect, which works as a currency in the game. You have to collect investigation tokens in order to reveal information about the enemy. And it's just, you gotta, and the big part of the game is to sing. Is your party strong enough to fight the big boss? Or if you wait too long, the big boss gets stronger, and then but you'll get stronger too. So there's also a darkness track too, which if the darkness track gets too high, then you lose the game. So you get to balance a whole bunch of different things. The enemy getting stronger, your party getting stronger. It's just, yeah, it can be really brutal. There's like an enemy phase, just like in most Flying Frog games, and a hero phase. The enemy phase, the villain phase can be super tough. You can be rolling along, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get hit with a whole bunch of badness.
Bad things, yeah.
It can be a very hard game to win, but it's very satisfying, and thematically, it just really draws you in. And I think it's the most thematic of the Flying Frog games that I play, and that's A Touch of
I literally got that in the shrink right up there last week because I'm like, I got to get this 10th anniversary edition while it's still available. So,
yep,
awesome game, awesome, love it. It's not on my list, but I love it.
There's a deck builder that's based off of it too, called Colonial. I can't remember the name of it, but it's based on the Touch of Evil. It uses all the same mechanics of the game, except it's a deck builder. And I have that too.
Speaking of deck builders, my number 23 is a deck builder. Probably the most famous deck builder after Dominion came out. This is one of these games that was super, super popular, and then it kind of just hit a brick wall and then just stopped. And unfortunately, it's still an all-time classic for me. I still enjoy playing it. Unfortunately, it's just some of the mechanics are too 2000-y. You know what I mean? It just doesn't have that updated mechanic yet. But that is Thunderstone Advance. Tower of Ruins is my number 23. Great little deck builder. It has so many good mechanics in it. It really took deck building from Dominion and made it into an actual game where you're attacking and defending against different enemies and creatures and building yourself up. And it was kind of the first game that ever did that. And it was super, super popular until people realized that some of the mechanics just don't work and it doesn't play great solo. And there's a few other minor issues with it. It's very expensive to get now. All the expansions are very expensive. It's too hard to get really into now. Fortunately for me, I went and bought them all a couple years ago, so I have them all, but it cost me like $350 to get all the expansions. But yeah, it does have one of the expansions, which is, again, one of the ones, the hard ones, actually comes with a solo board where it's kind of like a tower defense thing where you have 5 different lanes where the enemies are coming in and then you have to kill the enemies as they approach. Anyways, my number 23 is Thunderstone Advance.
All right. My number 22 is actually what's known as a flip and write. So very similar to roll and write, but instead of rolling dice, you're just flipping over cards. And it's a city builder from, what's the name of the company? Blue Cocker Games. It's called Welcome To. Yes. So you're basically trying to build a suburb and with various perks. So you might have pools, fences for your estates. What else might there be? Parks. What else? Oh yes, you've got your temp agencies there as well, but you're trying to build to various city plans depending on what you draw at the start of the game. It's basically just a beat the high score kind of thing. The thing I like about this is you can easily play it with a lot of people because I think the box advertises
100 or something like that.
1 to 100.
Yep.
So you just give everybody a sheet and just start flipping the deck over.
Yep. Yep. You could watch. You did a playthrough on your channel too.
I've actually done a couple of what I call play-alongs on the channel.
Yep.
So what I do with those is I provide a link to the score sheet, and then people can download that and play along with my cards as I draw them out.
Yep.
Oh, it's a great idea. Great idea.
Cool, yeah. I think a couple other channels did that too. It was pretty neat.
Ah, very nice.
Drips did it.
Good idea.
Yeah.
See, I gotta have
about that.
one good.
That's a
at least one.
crossover. I have that on my list, I believe. I think in the 80s or 90s, I think.
All right, my number 22. Go ahead and pop her on the screen there, IDJ. My grandfather taught me how to play chess at an early age. Early for me, I mean, probably around the age of 8. It was easy to remember how the pieces moved. The horsey goes 2 and then 1. What was harder was thinking about what his pieces might do while making my symmetrical looking opening positions because they looked really nice. And then he would clean the board with my king. But then I went away to school for 1 semester back in the late 80s, and I found a new person with which to play chess, and I could not beat him either. But he was the Pennsylvania State High School chess champ 3 years running. I learned a couple things. The following Christmas holiday, I beat my grandfather 6 games straight and never looked back. I mean, you learn things from one person that you can't from another, and this continues. And with each new person I play, I see something else that had not occurred to me before. I've got a puzzle book downstairs. I'll just sit there and I'll look at it for hours trying to mind and muddle my way through it, And I mean, if I had to guess, my ELO is only about 1,100, maybe 1,200 at the most. I'm not a great chess player by any chance. I could destroy someone in the first game I play against them just to blunder myself out of the next one. But I love playing chess. And that's why it's my number 22.
I would probably be on my list if I would have thought about it. I just didn't really dawn on me that, oh yeah, I should probably include that.
It's on my Board Game Geek, so it worked on Pub Meeple. Cool.
Yeah, there you go.
It's funny that the former youth pastor at my church, I'm trying to get him to play board games, and that's the only game he'll play is chess. Really? I can't get him to play anything else.
I take this on good recommendation. I've not tried it yet, but it looks really good. Check out Onitama.
Okay.
It's a 3x7 or a 3x9 like board, and you have cards which tell you which action you can take, and it's chess-like. Check that out.
Yeah, is that the one where you're painting? You're painting in the game? Is that the one? No, I'm thinking of a different one.
No, that's got to be a different one. But yeah, check out Onitama. Onitama. Check out Onitama.
I think I've seen that on the Dice Tower. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, this game is by Vladimir Suchi. It's a game. It's got the mechanisms that would draw me in on this game. It's rondel. If you like rondels, you'll love this game because that's all this game is just rondel after rondel after rondel. And it's a game called Shipyard. It's one of his earlier designs. The guy who did Underwater Cities and Praga Kaput Regni. And then another game, which I have of his is it Woodcraft? I think Woodcraft. Yeah, Woodcraft. But this is a game where you're basically building your shipbuilding. The ships look a lot like the Titanic, that type of style. You're getting ship parts. You're hiring different crew to go on the boats. You're different machinery, different passengers, and you're basically building ships of different lengths. Hiring crew, which unlocks certain abilities, and then once you complete your ship, you take it on a maiden voyage, and you score points based upon how far it goes, how powerful the ship is, and the best thing about this game is that at the end of the game, even if you don't win the game, you've got all these cool ships that you built, and you're looking at like. It's just really satisfying game. But it's got tons of rondels in it. And even the turn order, the way the turn order works is you pick an action and then you it's like a circle. It goes in a circle. And once it completes like 4 circles, the game ends. But you're picking up tiles and moving them to the head of the pack. And then the tiles that lag behind end up being worth more. The action's worth more. You put coins on them and they're worth more to take because nobody's taking them. And it's just very satisfying. But rondels, it's just a game of rondels and shipbuilding. And
there's some ships that's kind of cool. The different pieces, parts of their ships. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to hire. You have to get a like a front, like a stern and a bow, and then you get to figure out.
And then
you have to figure out
or wind. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to figure out how many middle pieces I'm going to put in, and the longer the ships are worth more, and then you have end game objectives in it. And it's funny because I've built ships in the game, and sometimes if you forget to put a captain on the ship and you do your maiden voyage, you don't score any points, and your ship basically just goes on into oblivion. So if you forget a simple thing like putting a captain on the ship, you'll end up taking a lot of time and scoring no points for the ship because there's no captain.
Oh my gosh!
It's very, very satisfying, fun game.
Do the ship line executives come in and screw with the lifeboat counts too?
Yeah.
No, the more you were talking about this game, the more I was thinking it sounded familiar, and I'd watched a playthrough of this a couple of years ago, and it grabbed my interest. I'd totally forgotten about it. I'm gonna have to look into this game.
Yeah,
again.
it's a great classic game. Heavy cardboard.
It looks like a good one. It definitely looks like a good one. And you said it was a guy that made Underwater Cities, huh?
Yeah, Vladimir Suchy.
Wow.
One of his earlier designs. It's by Czech Games.
Which I love the Underwater Cities. So.
Yep, you see his evolution in design as you. That's another thing too, which I like following certain designers because you see their evolution in designing too in different games.
Yeah, yep.
Let me see what my underwater. It's my number 37. Okay, I wasn't sure if we've come across that yet or not, but number 37 was Underwater Cities. Great game, I love it. All right, my number
22.
Oh, we got 22. Wow, 22.
Right there.
So just outside the 20 here is a war game. And again, this is a series of games. There's 3 different games. This is a game by Lock and Load Publishing. And it includes White Star Rising. It includes Stalin's Triumph. And it includes Desert Heat. That is the Nation at War system. Awesome. Again, a great, very easy introductory game to wargaming. If you're trying to get into wargaming, it's kind of a Dutch chunker with a little bit of strategy. So I would say it's what's the complexity rating on this? 2.6. I would guess it's about right. It's not simple like just throw dice, but there's a lot of strategy and because you got to figure range, you got some defense metrics. You're basically rolling an attack, and then the unit you're attacking is going to roll defense dice, and you're trying to get more damage or more hits than they defend against. And then if you do that, then you can suppress them. And then the second time, if you're already suppressed, then the unit's reduced down. So it is a great little system. Again, kind of an introductory, not too complex, but you get all your tanks, and you get all your mortars, machine guns and infantry. You get a whole. It's kind of like the next level up from a tactical level game. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing about this one is it has each of the different units. Let's see if I can find one here. Kind of has this a bar on it, and that's part of an organizational unit. So you have to keep your organizational units together within the headquarter range. And then it has random draw of which units are going to activate at which time. So you're never sure what's going to happen during each turn. So that is my number 22, just outside my top 20. And it's going to be the combination Nations at War. It's the series, White Star Rising, Stalin's Triumph, and Desert Heat. Is my number 22. So we are just outside the 20s, boys. Which game didn't make it into your top 20? Let's see.
My number 21 game is actually going to start a mini Star Wars grouping, and it's another one from the Pandemic universe from Z-Man Games. This one is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So this is set in the prequel trilogy during the Clone Wars. You're going around various planets of that universe, dealing with the various villains, whether it's Asajj Ventress, Count Dooku, Maul, and General Grievous, trying to defeat droids, clear blockades, and all of that fun stuff, trying to keep Darth Sidious from waking up on you and causing you to lose the game. But you'll potentially fly through threat very quickly. I've only played against Ventress so far, but I do plan on getting the other 3 on the channel at some point, but that's going to be a lot of time down the road. But my number 21, Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Yeah, I want to get this one because Star Wars, Yeah, I want to get this one.
I hear a lot of really good things about this one, and it's one of the few games that I don't have that I really wish I did have.
Yep.
Oh, actually, did I end up getting it? Damn, I can't remember now.
He has an embarrassment of riches in his game office.
He just lost his head there.
I lost control whether or not
At least though,
I have it or not. Damn. Oh well. I'll look later.
All righty. My number 21 is the one sports game I have in this portion of my list. And when I started selling auto parts back in 1992, I really wanted to fit in with the old dogs, both in the stores and out in the shops. And one way to do this was, no matter how country it might seem, better start following NASCAR. And this interest prompted me years later to get red, white, and blue racing from Play Games.
Yes.
Yep. I have all the early decade sets that they put out, but the 90s is the one that I know the most. Dale Earnhardt, Swerve and Irvin, Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer, Rusty Wineass, Mark Martin. I remember all those guys. And this game does a really good job of abbreviating a long event down to a manageable game time. There's engine trouble and problems in the pits. That's not an accident. That's good, hard racing. There's so gentlemen, start your engines. Look out for trouble in turn 2. My number 21. That was Jimmy Spencer's number also. Red, white, and blue racing.
That's my favorite racing game.
I love it.
Yep. I haven't played it in a while, but I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, this is a game that ID and I played on BGA. It's by Danielle Tassini and Simone Luciani. It's a game based on the Aztec Empire, right around that part of the world. And it's got a bunch of gears, and you're collecting resources and building and advancing on temples, and it's Zulkan, the Mayan calendar.
Crossover.
3-way crossover, right?
Not here.
Not
no, you do anyway.
Who said crossover? Did ID say crossover?
No. It's crossover with me. Yeah.
You guys.
Yeah. Oh, we do. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's a game that I'm not very good at, but I do find it very satisfying trying to figure out. And I notice I've been playing at higher play accounts. Higher play accounts, it's much tougher to get the actions that you really want to take. And it's just timing. It's a game of timing and a game of just building your technologies and deciding what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And it's very satisfying. It's just a fun game. Game which I enjoy a lot.
Now, without giving it away, is this your highest rated T game?
Nope.
Okay. All right. I thought it was very interesting that Solkin, I think, was in my 30s, right?
45.
45?
Yep.
Yeah, 45. Yeah, 45.
Yeah. No, there's at least one more.
Okay. All right. Good. Great game. Awesome game. My number 21. So this is just outside the 20. I seriously, when I look at the game that is this game, and I see that this is number 21, my mind is literally blowing apart. It is
that it's not in your top.
It is the overall number 4 game of all time. It is the overall number 4 strategy game of all time. And for me, it's 21. I love this game to death. It is awesome. I can't believe that there's 20 games that are better than this one. I can't. I don't know what 20 games. I have to go and look at my list. I'm talking about Ark Nova.
Ooh.
It is number 21. I don't know if it's got mismarked or whatever, but man, I mean, I love this game. How can there be 20 more games better than this? I don't know if I mismarked it. Maybe I would think if somebody would have just asked me in my top of my head, I would say it's between 10 to 15. I don't know how it ended up at 21, but that's where I'm going to leave it for now.
It'll probably rise.
The one thing that drags it down just a little bit, right, is the solo mode that's included in the game is not very
engaging,
interactive. It's more just you just move cubes over every time, to simulate the enemies or your opponent doing something. You just slide cubes, and then when you run out of the cube slides, then the round is over, and that's it. That's all you do, which means it's fast, but there's no interaction. You're doing it by yourself. Now, with that said, there's a great solo mode that someone made that you can get from Board Game Geek as a free download, and it's super good, and everyone really plays it. I played it once. I think it's okay. I think this is more for me. That's why I guess it's number 21. Is I want to play this solo, but I don't like the way it plays solo. I guess I think it plays great at 2 or 3 players. I don't think it's a great solo experience. I think it's fine. Don't get me wrong. I would say it's a 5 or 6, like right in the middle. Nothing great, but nothing bad. So that's maybe why instead of in the top 10, it's in just outside the top 20. Then my number 21, Ark Nova.
The main reason it didn't make my list is I hadn't played it enough. I played it since we started doing this series. I played it a few times and I borrowed it and played the solo. But I do agree with you with the solo. I think the other version of the solo, that one on Board Game Geek, is better, probably. I think the one thing that I don't like about it, and this is a subjective thing, I guess you could say, is it has the Terraforming Mars type player board issue, which I don't like the quality of the player board. I mean, it's a quality issue of component quality. I mean, as far as the player boards go, everything else is great in it, like the cards and everything like that. But it's just certain little things that I don't know. Like, they don't.
Yeah,
they bug me a little
it was
bit.
kind of disappointing because they came out with a expansion map pack, and I thought, ooh, this is going to be great, and I bought it, and it's literally just card stock. It's just big card stock, and it's flimsy, and it flops around, and I was like, really? That's the best you could do? That's not for like the number 4 game of all time. That's the best that's the most that you could put, most effort you could put into it. I'm kind of disappointed, a little disappointed.
Yep.
I think I played
but
this.
to be honest, a game that was released in 2021, it says 2021, but seriously, it didn't come out until 2022. And to be ranked number 4 already, that means a lot of people really, really like it.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people.
It hit the ground running. It did.
Well, it's like the first big animal game. Now, like, there's 12 of them all of a sudden because everyone was like, oh, people like animals. We should make games with animals in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm waiting on one. They're actually a PC game called Zoo Tycoon. They're coming. They had a Kickstarter for it recently, and that's coming out as a board game, too. I'm waiting to see what that's going to look like.
Oh, really? That'd be good. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, boys, we're down to 20 left. We're down to 20 games. That's it.
Well,
Like this is something you can actually put in a suitcase or maybe 2 suitcases and carry with you. 20 games. You would have them forever and ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can make these fit.
Right? And that's it. That's all you have. You have 2 suitcases worth of games left. That's all you have.
I could, yeah. Good variety. I can see. They would definitely satisfy me. I could survive.
The thing about these lists, though, is we've mentioned a lot of games that I would want to include in that list that we've already talked about. I mean, they're all good games.
Yep.
Really? I would think it would have to be a good game to be within the top 20. I mean, sure, every game has a little flaw here or there, but man, oh man. Holy
Good.
hell! I can't believe the list. I'm looking at my top 20 down to 11.
Yeah. Yep.
Those are like some of the best of the best right there, boys. Woo.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Wow, I can't
And,
wait till next week. Can't wait. Let's just do it now. Ready? Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. 5-minute break.
Yeah, right.
Let's not, because that would put us at like 11 o'clock.
The Dale
Yeah.
mentioned the deck builder I was thinking of on A Touch of Evil. It's called Dark Gothic. That's
Is that what
White
that was?
product.
Okay, yeah.
Dark Gothic. Yep.
That was the deck builder from
Yeah, for Touch of Evil.
for Touch of Evil. Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
I love my
It's-
deck
it's
builders.
fun.
You know that. Wow, I can't believe it. Woo, that was an awesome list. 10 really good games. Really excited. Some more
More to
games, some
come.
sports games, and then there was 20, man. 20 left. I cannot believe it. Wow. Before you know it, like after next week, you realize that we only have one more session.
Yeah.
It's flying by, isn't it?
Just to give you a little preview, ID there's 4 Simone Luciani games in the next 10. 4 of
Really?
them are Simone Luciani.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I have actually 3 sports games coming up, almost back to back to back too. That's crazy.
I have 3
Great.
sports games. I have 3 older games.
Ooh.
Yep. Left coming down the pipe.
The only preview I've got from my list is I've got 6 space games in mine.
Space games. Wow.
Bring it.
Gaia. Gaia's going to be a maybe.
Gaia
Oh,
Project's
that
going
might
to
be
be in
higher
there. What's it called?
Race for the Galaxy?
No. Space Empire. Is that what
Space
it's called?
Empire.
Space Empire, is that what it's called? Probably is going to be in there. I'm trying to think of what. Tiny Epic Galaxy is probably in there.
You'll have to wait and find out until next week.
We could read your mind, buddy. We could read your mind.
There'll be no
I would
silly
be so
games in
sure
there.
of that.
No silly
No
games.
silliness here.
All right, here's your goal this week, boys. Sometime this week, let's put out a video on our channel that is going to be one of our games from 20 to 11. Can we do that?
Nah.
Let's do 30 to 21. That way we're not spoiling.
That's what I'm doing, yeah.
30 to 21.
21?
Well, if we do 20 to 11, we're doing spoilers.
So what? You get to show off the game that you enjoy between 20
Well, you
and
could say
11.
You could say it's in there, just don't give the number, what number it is.
Yeah, right. It could be number 11. It could be number 20. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do next week's.
I'll do it.
And then we'll do the same thing for 10 to 1. You can play one of those games.
Yep.
There as well.
I'll do
You
it.
don't have to play it. Just
And I know the 2 I'm playing. I'm
video
good.
on your channel, like, hey, look at this game. I really enjoy this game. It's a great game, and this is why. You don't have to play it. Just kind of introduce it to people. Say, hey, I wanted to introduce you to one of my best buddies here.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
my
You can
content schedule for the next couple of weeks is already set.
You're gonna have to change it, man. People are
Flexibility.
counting on you. People are counting on you. You're gonna have to make an extra effort tomorrow night, Monday. You got nothing going on.
Social game night on Monday night.
So presumptuous there, IDJ.
Get a case of the Mondays.
I'm sure you can do it. You can do it. Make it happen.
Social game
All right.
night on Monday. Not happening.
Do it Tuesday. You got nothing going on Tuesday.
Early bedtime for workout on Wednesday morning.
You got nothing going on Thursday.
Double workout day.
Oh my gosh, you're killing me.
I'm going to need you to stay late at work tonight.
What are you doing now? You could just do it right this minute.
I'm going to be going to bed in like an hour.
Yeah, you got an hour then. Stop your excuses. All right.
It takes me about that long to edit the
Everyone,
video.
check out our channels: PhoenixKnight, Lower Thrower Board Gamer, Higher Ground Gaming. Be sure to make sure you're subscribed. Be sure to watch for their video because they're going to be doing some game between 20 and 11 It's coming up sometime this week on their channel. We'll see everybody back here next week, 8 o'clock. We're getting down the nitty gritty, boys. 20 to 11. Ooh. All right. We'll see everyone then. Till next week, my friends. Take care. We'll see you all down the line.
See you guys.
Ciao.